Good afternoon, class. I'll be starting with the same chapter, chapter 9, the Great Depression, USA, Germany, Britain, France and Japan. This is the concluding part of this chapter, and in the last class I've explained up to impact of the Great Depression on Japan, and today I'll be starting with the new topic, impact of the Great Depression on Britain. It's on 9.5, page number is 160. So, at the end of the First World War, a coalition as the coalition government continued in Britain from 1918 to 22, and in 1922 as the conservative power, as there was a coalition government, but in 1922 the conservative came to power and ruled Britain up to 1924 as the conservative ministry at they start election, general election, to as they want to fight against fight unemployment, and they want to bring a change in the policy. They want to bring a change in Britain, change of policy in Britain, but was defeated. Then after that, then come the Labour government of Ramsay MacDonald, and within 10 months the Conservative defeated the power and Baldwin became the Prime Minister for the second term, and the party remained in power up to 1929. So when the conservative ministry, as they start for election to fight against the unemployment, but they want to bring a change in Britain, but then again the Labour government of Ramsay MacDonald came within for 10 months, and even after that again conservative defeated the Labour and Baldwin, as again the conservative party of Baldwin became from Baldwin is from conservative party, and he became the prime minister for the second term and remained in power up to 1927. As Baldwin government again collapsed in the general election of 1929, and Ramsay MacDonald of the Labour Party, as he ran the government from 1929 to 31. So that's from 1931 18 to 31, the charge of British government shifted like a shuttlecock from Tory government to Labour government, and Labour to Tory government. So this was the scene between 18 to 31. Now the main problem before the government in that year was the economic depression. So how they have to fight, they can fight with economic depression and the mounting unemployment in that present time. So neither the Tory nor the Whigs government, they could cope up with the problems, and there was a huge loss in the national budget. Any whatever attempt they had made for the unemployment, but there was a stiff resistance in command. So in 1931, as there was also a sharp division in cabinet, and hence the leaders of Tory and Liberal parties, and they both of the government, they agreed to form a national government in Britain as comprising leaders of different parties. So they are agreed to form a national government in Britain comprising leaders of different parties. So the Labour Party opposed the national government and was declared MacDonald a traitor. So even when the Labour Party opposed the national government, and they declared MacDonald a traitor. So then after that, the national government first tackled the economic problem by introducing the following method. So after introducing the following method, they tackle the problem. The first is there was a general salary cut by 10%. So the general salary was cut by 10%. Second point is Britain left the gold standard and the value of fell by 1.4. So even the gold standard of value fell by 1.4. Third point is the government faced a general election to get people's verdict for economic reform and got overwhelming majority for a national government. Strangely enough, after this election, the Liberal Party began to decline. So the third point is the government they failed a general election to get people's verdict for economic reform and got overwhelming majority for national government. And strangely enough after the election, the Liberal Party, they began to decline. However, Neville Chamberlain became the Chancellor of Exchequer, though it was a national government in name. The majority minister came from the Conservative Tory party. So the first point is in 1932, Chamberlain introduced the tariff reform and imperial preference system. Imperial goods were immune from tariff, but other imports were subjected to tariff. This decision was taken at Ottawa. The Ottawa decision checked economic depression. So in 1932, Chamberlain introduced his tariff reform and liberal preference system. The imperial goods were immune from tariff, but other imports were subjected to tariff. So even the decision was taken at Ottawa. The Ottawa decision check is the whatever decision whatever decision were taken in Ottawa was to check the economic depression. Bank rate was reduced to 2% after 1932. People could take bank loan for industries at cheaper rates. So the second point is the bank rate was reduced to that 2% after 1932, and now the people could take loan for bank loan for industries at cheaper rate. Third point is income tax was lower after 1934. Fourth point is 10% salary cut was stopped so that the people's purchasing power increased. So even the 10% salary cut was stopped and that people purchasing power increased. Fifth point is government grants were given to farms and factories at low rate of interest. Even the government grants were given to farms and factories at low rate of interest. Number 6, unemployment workers were encouraged to move the midland farms and factories from jobs where space and unemployment were available. So even unemployment workers were encouraged to move to midland farms and factories from job where space and unemployment were available. So the national government now they try to protect agriculture by adopting the following methods. So even the national government now they are trying to protect the agriculture by adopting the following methods. First is subsidies were given to agriculture. Even now the agriculture subsidies were getting. Next is granted of price was to given. Even there was a price guaranteed in price were given. Third is marketing boards were established which regulated price by restricting output. Even marketing boards were established which regulated the price by restricting output. Fourth point is in shipbuilding cotton industries attempts were made to boost up production. Government advanced loans to ship owners to buy ships. So even in shipbuildings cotton industries attempts were made to boost up production. Government advanced loan to ship owners to buy ships. Fifth point is the iron and steel industry began to recover. 33.5% tax was imposed on iron imports, so the production could grow more and more without competition. 6th point is the British Iron and Steel organization was set up in 1931. 7th point is new industries like chemical fibers, cars, radios had a boom in the market. Now industries like chemical fibers, radios and cars they are coming up in the market. Ramsay MacDonald tried to heavy work design and Baldwin became the prime minister in 1935. The general election once began confirmed a general government to power. Meanwhile, King George V died and Prince Edward VIII was determined to marry an American widow, Mrs. Simpson. Prime Minister Baldwin and the Archbishop of Canterbury opposed the marriage. It was harmed the public image of monarchy. Edward III abdicated and was succeeded by his younger brother George VI. So as Ramsay MacDonald tried to heavy work design and Baldwin became the prime minister in 1935, and even the general election there was a general election once again and confirmed national government to power and meanwhile King George V died and the Prince Edward was determined to marry a American widow, Mrs. Simpson, and as for this decision, marriage decision, Prime Minister Baldwin and Archbishop of Canterbury, they opposed the marriage because it would harm the if he it would aid marry that American widow. It would harm the public image of monarchy. So he was removed from the throne and succeeded. The throne was succeeded by his brother George VI. The economic crisis, unemployment, and government action to prevent them, and the succession crisis to the throne so heavily absorbed public opinion that Britain became a little slack and unmindful to affairs in Europe. In spite of Hitler's rise and the threat as even after all this economic crisis, unemployment, and government action to prevent them, and all the succession crisis to the throne so heavily that even they absorb the public opinion that Britain became a little sick and they became unmindful to affairs in Europe. In spite of Hitler rise and threats, Britain remained pacifist. Meanwhile, Neville Chamberlain of Tory party, he became the prime minister, and he acted wisely and finance minister, but his understanding of foreign affairs was poor. Unfortunately, foreign affairs was now became the most important subject in the ministerial agenda. So Chamberlain's policy towards Germany was criticized by opponents like Winston Churchill as a policy of appeasement. Chamberlain could not stop Hitler by concession, so the Munich Pact and sacrifice of Czechoslovakia increased Hitler's appetite. Poland was his next target. He did not pay any respect to Anglo-French warning and attacked Poland, violating the Versailles Locarno Treaty system. Hence, Britain and France declared war against Germany on 3rd September 1939. The Second World War began. So after all that, the most important subject was the in the ministerial agenda was the foreign affairs, and even Chamberlain's policy towards Germany was criticized by the opponent, and Winston Churchill used as a policy of appeasement, and Chamberlain could not stop Hitler by concession. And even the Munich Pact and sacrifice of Czechoslovakia increased Hitler appetite, and now the next target for Hitler is to Poland, and Hitler did not pay any respect to Anglo-French warning and attacked Poland as he violated the treaty, violating the treaties of Versailles Locarno Treaty system, and hence Britain and France declared war against Germany on 3rd September 1931, and the Second World War began. The next is 9.6, the Great Depression in France. So after Germany, the impact of Great Depression in France was relatively mild. So the Great Depression in France was not big, it was a mild, but at its maximum unemployment, the maximum unemployment it exceeded to 1 million, less than 5% at the workplace. The fall in the production was relatively modest and never reached 20%. Even the workplace was 5% in 1930, and there was a fall in production and was relatively modest and never reached to 20% of the 1929 output in commerce and manufactures. The depression in France was not accompanied by banking crisis like other European countries. Only one major bank fell, starting in 1931. A number of countries decided to devalue their currency. The pound sterling was devalued in 1931 and the US dollar in 1933 for political reasons. French government rejected the option of devaluation and capital control in 1933, and 1/3 of the world stock of gold was France. Despite inflow of gold and relative price increase, the French government did not devalue its monetary policy. So the depression in France was not accompanied by the banking crisis like in other countries. So only major bank fell, and starting from 1931, a number of countries decided to devalue their currency. Even the pound sterling was devalued in 1931, and the USA dollar in 1933, and the French government rejected the option of devaluation and capital control in 1933. And one third of the world's stock of gold was in France, and despite inflow of gold, the relative price increased, and the French government did not devalue its monetary policy. The government, as the government led by Pierre Level, then decided in 1935-36 to implement a strict deflationary policy. An act of 1935 reduced 10% of all the public expenditure, including civil servant compensation, as taxes were increased. In 1936, a coalition of socialists and communists won the election. The new labor market regulation imposed by the coalition government provoked a large increase in cost of labor. First, the government imposed collective bargaining on wage contract between employers and the trade unions. So, as the government was led by Pierre Level, and decided in 1935-36 to implement, they will implement a strict deflation policy, and in the Act of 1935, as they reduced in 10% on public expenditure, and they including civil servant compensation, as taxes were increased in 1936. A coalition of socialists and communists won the election, and the new labor regulation imposed by the coalition government. So the government imposed collective bargaining on wage contract between the employers and the trade unions. Second, the workplace was reduced from 48 to 40 hours, keeping the weekly on monthly wage constant. Third, the worker were also granted 2 weeks of paid holidays, keeping the weekly on monthly wage constant. Fourth point is the civil servant wage cut policy was suspended. At the same time, a nationwide strike movement led to the Accord of Matigau, by which wages were increased on average of 12%. So even the civil servant wage policy was suspended, and at the same time there was a strike movement led to the Accord of Matigau, by which from this Accord of Matigon, by which wages were increased on average by 12%, and the strike and its effect on wages were anticipated by the government. As a result, labor costs increased by 29% to 12% because of Accord of Matigon, 4% because of the paid holidays, and 10.8% because of the 40 hours week. At the same time, franc was devalued by 30%, and in 1937, there was a first public budget of the coalition increased tax but decreased average tax from 17.4% to 15.8%. So on the eve of the war of 1937 to 39, in spite of following the implementation of the 40-hour work week and a drop in investment, the economy of France slowly recovered. So there was the eve of war in 1937 to 39. In spite of following the implementation of the 40-hour work week and a drop in the investment, the economy of France slowly recovered. So by 1938, the economy started a pre-war regime, and the public expenditure increased. The work week also increased. 4 basic points should be kept in the mind regarding France. First, the Great Depression started 1 year in later France than the USA. Second, there was no major banking crisis in France. Third, there was no deflationary policy before 1934. Lastly, during the recession in 1936, a major program to reform was implemented, which remained us in 1933 USA New Deal. So after the eve of war in 1937 to 39, in 1938 the economy started enter a new pre-war regime, and there was a public expenditure increase. The work week also increased. 4 basic points should be taken in mind regarding France. First, the Great depression started 1 year later in France than in USA. Second, as there was no major banking crisis in France. Third, as there was no deflationary policy before 1934. And then lastly, so during the recession in 1936, there was a major program of reform. There was a major program of reform which was implemented, and this gift remind us the 1933 US New Deal. So, we come to the conclusion of this chapter. So that's all for today. Thank you.